You want a man to be obsessed with you, chase you, delete all the other women from his phones just to focus on you. For once, I'm about to show you these psychological secrets that make men literally beg to be around you. And it has nothing to do with playing games, withholding intimacy, or acting like somebody you're not. Now, I gotta warn you, this will completely flip how you think about attraction. And once you start using this, baby, there ain't no going back. This stuff works. Something people don't realize is your brain has this thing called the reticular activating system. And it's basically a filter that shows you evidence of what you already believe. It's really hard to convince people of anything. They're looking for evidence to confirm what they already believe. And here, I'll give you an example to show you that this is actually the case. Is when your friend buys, let's say, a white car, and you suddenly start seeing white cars everywhere. They were always there. They didn't start pumping out new white cars from the car factory. You just never noticed them about because your brain was actively filtering them out. And another way to say filtering it out is like, okay, that's now in our conscious awareness, boom, now we see them more. Same thing happens with dating. If you believe deep down that you're always going to be somebody's second choice, that nobody approaches you, your brain is going to show you evidence of that everywhere. Or let's say all men are trash, boom. If you believe that, your brain will actively point that out to you, right? So when you truly believe that you're the prize, and this works in the positive, when you truly believe that you're the prize, when you have high confidence, when you're like, dude, people always want to do things for me, people love me, they're so excited by my presence, I have a glowing aura, your brain will make it so. And two women can walk into the same room with the same guy, and let's say they're identical twins. The one that has a better positive self-image will be treated better by that guy because she expects it, because she has more aura. And one feels like she's competing with the other women. She has a scarcity mindset. The other feels like, everyone's noticing me. Everyone loves to talk to me. Guess which one he approaches? The one that's positive, the one that's radiating energy. And this is kind of a self-fulfilling loop, right? Like if you feel like no one approaches you, you feel like, your energy's low, then it will be because the guy's like, I don't know, she kind of looks like melancholy. I don't want. You ever been in the room with somebody that's like piping hot mad? And you're just like, get me away from this person. People naturally feel your energy. So by changing our thoughts and changing what we think about, we will be able to change this. And I know this may sound a bit woo-woo, but stick with me here because there's actually science behind this. Your thoughts create your emotions. So let's take thoughts here, right? Thoughts create your emotions. You ever thought something like, sometimes I have this, I'll get a cringe flashback to the past, like something I did in grade school. I'm like, ugh, that was awkward. And then I'll feel cringy. I'll feel like a weird, sad or like weird emotion. And then that makes me think more thoughts about it. So it kind of has this thought. So let's say we have a thought that we're like, guys never approach us. And then our emotion is that of sadness. And that sadness, here's a great example. So when you break up with somebody, unfortunately, a lot of times what we do is we listen to sad music. But that sad music continues to reinforce the sad thoughts, which continues to reinforce the sad emotions. So what we need to do is we need to interrupt it. So your thoughts create your emotions, and your emotions shape how you see yourself, and that creates your aura, literally your energy. And people can feel your aura before you even say a thing. It's telling people exactly how you should be treated and exactly what you expect. Because have you ever seen somebody that's confident and you think a lot of bad things happen to them in their life? It's possible, but that's not how people interpret them. When you see somebody sad and totally like run down, you feel like people have treated them bad their entire life. And you might think, the people would treat them nicer. Nah, actually not the case. It's kind of the halo effect in psychology. It's like better looking people and people that are more happy and energetic, they tend to just get better things. There's a spiritual aspect to this, and there's just like what we can perceive with psychology. So let's think about it. You met people that have had this presence, right? And you were actually drawn to them. You couldn't put your finger. You're like, I don't know exactly why I feel drawn to this person, but you know what I'm talking about. So step one, in order to get this better treatment and literally make these guys like beg to be around you, and this happens instantly, is we need to rewrite your story. Rewrite your story. Your story, I'm singing to you. People love when I sing on these because they say I have like the best voice and my handwriting skills are impeccable. They're always saying it. And I need to go back and we need to start rewriting some of your relationship history. And this is not because we're lying to ourselves. It's because the story that you're telling yourself right now is actually keeping you stuck. And this is not your fault, right? Like, we don't get taught this in school. We don't get taught about like important things like rewiring your mindset, taxes, but we do learn a lot about that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cells. That's the stuff they teach us about. So if you're saying things like, all the good ones are taken, men always leave me for somebody else, your brain is going to keep proving that true. So for the next 30 days, I'm going to need you to do this. I need you to promise me, I'm looking at you right now, is that you say this to yourself: I'm always somebody's first choice. Everything in my love life has always worked out perfectly. I attract only devoted and loyal men. People feel lucky to have me around them. And I know it feels weird at first. You're like, well, I actually don't feel that way. But the more you say it, the more it will be so. And it even helps if you write it out on paper, like, a little bit better than an iPad, but like actual physical pen and paper, write it every single day. And you repeat this over and over again. And the more you do it, you're starting to get rid of those old stories that you were telling yourselves. Trust me, it's taking you a decent bit of time to have these stories built up in your head. But give it 30 days. In the book Psycho-Cybernetics, one of my favorite books, highly recommend, they say 21 days to make a change. So commit to it, suspend your disbelief, be like, yeah, Jack said it's a good thing to do it. It changed my entire life. Let's go into step 2, because we're rewiring your stories now. We're going to step 2. So become your own biggest fan. Ain't nobody gonna cheerlead you quite like you have to do yourself. Every day, you're the person that gets you out of bed. Nobody is ever going to be invested enough in your life to make it great for you. So you have to start telling yourself throughout the day, and I mean say it out loud. Like I do it when I walk through a door. I do it when I walk through a door. For some reason, that's like a good primer to me. I'm absolutely irresistible. I am the obvious choice. People are naturally drawn to me. People love my YouTube videos. They love my charisma. My energy is magnetic. People are drawn to me. And when you start saying it, when you start actually believing it, and you want to catch yourself, if anytime you're doing these like negative thoughts, you want to say, my energy is magnetic. I don't think like that. People are naturally drawn to me. I don't think like that. You block out the negative thoughts. You're like, negative, no. And then step 3 is act like it's already happened. Assume that all good things are coming your way. So it's like, let's imagine we are manifesting a vision of, a super boss lady, like who's literally like a queen, right? How would she already act? And this is where things get really fun, is because you're making space for your, like, that woman in your life. You're being like, I'm already acting like that woman would act. So I'm just maintenance energy. I'm just doing the same things I would have been doing if I was already her. And this is what actually creates that space for an amazing person in your life. Because again, we're attracted to energies. If you have a great energy, you're going to attract a guy with great energy. And when you're making coffee in the morning and you make it like you're making it for 2, you look in the mirror, say, good morning, beautiful. I said, this is where we get a little bit woo-woo. We like literally, I've even written like love letters, and I actually recommend doing this, is write a love letter to your future spouse. Because if you continuously talk about them, like, you really get super clear on who you're looking for. And this is one of the biggest problems in dating, is we're not able to get rid of the wrong people fast enough, because the faster we can get rid of the wrong people, the quicker we can welcome the person we want into our life. So force a smile even when you don't feel like it, because the research shows that this actually helps. Continue to say your manifestations, continue to build up that positive mindset. And this is when you start really getting magnetic. So let's go into number 4. Become somebody that people crave. Because when people are around you, they should leave thinking about that interaction all day. You probably have this experience as well. Do you talk with certain people where you're like, man, that person gave me so much energy, I feel so much better? And do you talk with other people where you're just like, oh, God, I hate when they call. Like, you look at the phone, you're like, you wince. Maybe it's your toxic boss. Maybe it's somebody else. Maybe it's, unfortunately, like somebody in your family. You're just like, oh, I don't want to talk to them. So notice that feeling that you see in other people, and you want to be the person that is that like shining beacon of light that people are like, dang, I love talking to her because she is so magnetic. And you want to largely, and it's a funny thing, because people will want to be around you, but you also cannot care so much about their problems. You have to have a certain level of detachment. Someone will tell you something, you're like, got it. You care about their problem, but you're not getting absorbed into it. And you don't have to immediately solve it for them, right? Be light, be fun, be playful. Don't be the person who people just trauma dump on, because you also, you have to protect your own energy. To be magnetic is work. Protect your energy, right? Protect your energy. So oftentimes, maybe I'm not always the most supportive of my friends. I try to be very supportive, but if they're just going to constantly talk about how bad their life is, I'm trying to show them in a calibrated way how great their life is. Like one of my friends the other day was saying, "Oh man, it's so much work. I have to produce all these YouTube videos." I'm like, "Dude, it's so amazing." And they're like, "Dude, I totally understand that, and I feel you. But isn't it so great that we get to create videos for a living?" And we're paid to make videos. And just like the same, like we can always flip something. There's always a positive, right? And I'm not saying to be fake. I'm not saying to suppress your feelings. I'm just saying when you're talking around people, bring good energy. Save the heavy conversations for a therapist or one of your closest, deepest friends because people are addicted to how you make them feel. And if you make them feel stressed out, drained, they'll start to avoid you. If you make them feel amazing, they will literally chase you. I've seen it so many times. They will literally chase you because you're like, whoa, I want a piece of what that woman's putting down. That is some crazy energy. All right, the transformation effect. And here's what happens when you actually start putting in the work here and you start releasing the baggage, you start releasing the resentment, and you start seeing yourself as a victim. Your energy shifts and you start looking for someone to complete you, or you don't look for somebody to complete you because you are already full. This is you. You're full. Maybe there's like a 95% slice. This is you. And he can join him, right? But before, a lot of people, what they do is they try to have a guy fix their entire life. No, baby. You are completely full. You are amazing as it is. With a guy or without a guy, you're completely happy. A guy is like the sprinkling on life. He's the seasoning, right? He will bring in and help you live your best life, right? A guy that wants to completely like fix women, he's a kind of weird guy. You want a guy that wants to be in a partnership with you and your life is completely full. You built an amazing life. So ultimately, a lot of talking. I need you to focus on having a positive mindset, bringing that energy because that is the magnetism that brings people into your orbit and makes them love to be around you. If they come away from a conversation being like, oh, she's the best. She's always hypes me up. She's always having the best energy. That is exactly what we want. And that's how you attract not just love into your life, but wealth, health, all of the amazing things. I love you. Ciao.